I'm not gonna lie, Adidas has been cooking up some really interesting stuff recently. So today, I'm going over the best that they have to offer. These are the top 10 Adidas sneakers for 2025. Coming in at number 10, probably a classic at this point, the ULTRABOOST 5. The ULTRABOOST is a classic in general, the 5 is the latest version. Now, ultimately, this was kind of a disappointing pair of shoes, at least visually. It remained pretty similar to the previous versions from the ULTRABOOST line. However, there is no arguing that this is the best version to date. I think I, like a lot of people, have some very fond memories of the ULTRABOOST sneaker. It ushered in almost a new era of like super comfortable shoes that everybody wanted to wear. I had a pair of ULTRABOOST in my rotation for a very long time. The combination of a super stretchy sock-like upper mixed with that Boost cushioning was undeniable. But Boost in 2025 does feel a little bit dated. There's just so many other newer cushioning technologies from different brands that have just kind of surpassed it in terms of a like responsive and ultimately soft feel underfoot. But that's not to say that Boost doesn't have a place in today's market. It's still a really comfortable pair of shoes, and I think overall like it visually looks really good as well. Now, the ULTRABOOST 5 has the lightest version of Boost cushioning to date, which cannot be understated because Boost definitely is one of the weightier options when it comes to a pair of shoes. But overall, if you're looking for a great everyday pair of shoes that is comfortable, that kind of slip on and go type thing, I think the ULTRABOOST 5 is a great option. But coming in at number 9, the Fear of God Basketball 2. Now, the Fear of God Adidas collaboration may have not lived up to all of the hype that I guess people kind of put on it, and I think the sneakers kind of got overshadowed by the crazy prices of the clothing and the general collection of itself. But I think if you just look at the sneakers in isolation, they are really good. Now, the Basketball 1 was great for its like ultra premium type feel. The materials were great, the packaging was eccentric, and this second version feels a lot more refined. They've lowered the price tag, made them a little bit more comfortable. The padding on the upper definitely contributes to that. It's very well made. It has that kind of signature, you know, Fear of God aesthetic to it. And overall, I think it just makes this pair of shoes not only really good looking, but functionally great as well. I think them calling it basketball is a little bit of a stretch. It's definitely more of a casual shoe than something that you can actually wear for performance on the court. But yeah, overall, great pair of shoes. Taking the number 8 spot, the Adidas Light Blaze. Now, this is one of my favorite affordable shoes right now. Retail price is $100, and there is a ton of things to just really like about it. And one of the best things by far has to be the light strike cushioning that Adidas put in the midsole. Now, unfortunately, not all light strike cushioning is created equal. So yeah, you're not going to be getting the same light strike that's in their premium running shoes, that ultra soft squishy stuff. However, ultimately, it's still super soft and squishy underfoot. I just wish that they did give it another name because it does kind of feel like a little bit misleading to the consumer. Regardless, for the retail price that these things are, I think they're a great option. Like, they're super nice quality. They've got suede all over the upper. Base material is a nice breathable mesh. The shape of the shoe just makes them look good. And surprisingly, like, considering the price point, it actually is up there as one of the more comfortable shoes that you can actually buy from Adidas. There's a bunch of really cool colorways that you can get. My favorite has to be like the kind of taupey black and white one. And there's even a trail version of this shoe with the exact same cushioning. It just has more of like a trail exaggerated outsole and then kind of more aggressive paneling on the upper. Now, coming in at number 7 is the Adidas ADISTAR cushion. Now, this in my opinion has to be one of the best looking retro runner style sneakers on the market. They're very well made. Like, for a retro runner, they feel decently premium. They've got a ton of padding around the ankle area, so that feels great. They've got great breathability, really nice paneling on the upper, so like all of like the different overlays that you get just make them look cool. And of course, it's got a nice comfortable midsole to just make overall this pair of shoes a really strong competitor in the retro runner space. In the grand scheme of things, these will feel pretty similar to most of the other retro runner styles that you can find on the market. So I think if you are shopping for a pair of shoes in this category, like visually, that's what you're kind of looking out for. There is a big benefit that you can find these on sale, and you can also get them in some pretty cool collaborations. Coming in at number 6, we got the Adidas ARUKU. Now, this is probably one of the more interesting sneakers that Adidas has released recently. Visually, it's very different to anything else that's offered on the market. You got this giant stack of foam on the midsole that is rounded to be shaped like a rocker. Now, they kind of went with this retro futuristic style design where basically they took a lot of the elements from one of their retro runners, the ARUKU from the 2000s, put it on the upper, and then just decided to replace the midsole with what Adidas calls swirl foam. It's basically nitrous infused foam that is incredibly soft and then has like this swirly texture to it. And when you combine this super squishy foam with the rocker shape, these things are amazing to walk around in. Now, it does take a little bit of getting used to. As soon as you actually stop walking, you still kind of feel that propulsion when you're standing still. But once you get the hang of it, it feels great. Definitely recommend these if you do a lot of walking. The price is relatively reasonable considering like how much shoe you're getting. So yeah, overall, really nice pair. Coming in at number 5, we got the Adidas XLG Runner. Now, a little bit of a disclosure, this is not as easy to get as a lot of the other ones on this list. It's technically a China exclusive, so that's where they sell it on like Adidas's website out in China. However, it's 2025 and the internet exists, so it's relatively easy to just get it from different resale platforms or just different websites. And honestly, I think it's actually worth the little bit of extra effort that you'd have to put in to pick up this pair of shoes. Definitely one of my favorite pickups in recent memory. I've been wearing these things a ton ever since I got them. They're comfortable, obviously have a super cool and slightly unique look to them. It's not like Adidas is hiding the fact that they kind of look like a Balenciaga ripoff, but if you do like that style, something that's super chunky, cushioned, and easy to walk around in, then I think this is probably one of the best options that's not like plus $1,000. Now, I will kind of add to this number 5 spot the upcoming Adidas Pharrell Jellyfish sneaker, although technically I can't really recommend it because I've never actually tried this pair of shoes. It's dropping later on this year, but it does look like it's very similar to the XLG Runner in that it's a kind of, retro runner design that's super chunky and oversized. But those do cost $280. The XLG is a lot less than that. But yeah, if you got the extra cash, that does look like it's going to be a banger of a sneaker, but the XLG Runner for now is definitely one of the best you can get from Adidas. Coming in at number 4, we got the Adidas ADISTAR 3. Now, there's kind of two versions of this pair of shoes, and now they just released a new one called the Harmony. So I'm kind of going to place both of these shoes at the same spot. There is a price difference here. The Harmony is definitely more expensive. The actual ADISTAR 3 is definitely more affordable, but essentially you're getting the exact same cushioning in both of these shoes, which is one of the highlights of this sneaker. It's incredibly soft, super comfortable. The retro style that's on the Harmony, which I gotta say does look pretty incredible, or just the more basic version, which is the regular ADISTAR 3. Either way, you're getting an insanely comfortable shoe, whichever one you choose. Right, now before we get into the top 3, I gotta hit you with some honorable mentions that I just think, they gotta be included in here. First one is the Bad Bunny Adidas Gazelle, one of my favorite shoes to come out of the Bad Bunny collaboration. I think my absolute favorite has to be the Campus, but this one definitely falls in line with a lot of the trends in 2025. People love the Gazelles, the Sambas, the lower profile shoes, and I think this one definitely elevates that style a little bit more. Another honorable mention would be the Adidas Z Sponge, one of the weirdest and wacky shoes that Adidas has released, but surprisingly it's really good. Like, it's comfortable, it feels good on foot, and I think it's unique to the point where if you like it, you're gonna love it. And then the last one is the Adidas SL72. Now, I've mentioned plenty of times on the channel how like the Adidas Samba isn't really a shoe for me. It's just not very comfortable. You're literally getting a little tiny thin layer of rubber underneath your feet. The SL2 manages to capture that low profile look while also having a little bit more cushioning, and they're a lot more comfortable. So if I personally had to choose between the Gazelle, the Samba, and all of the other ones that Adidas makes, the SL2 would be at the top of my list. Right, getting into this top 3, kicking us off at number 3, the Adidas Forum 2000. Now, this is, I guess, the latest version of the Forum, which is basically a retro Adidas basketball shoe that was insanely popular back in the day. Even Michael Jordan was wearing them. But obviously this one is very different. It's hardly the same shoe. They essentially just made the Forum model a lot more like the Campus 00. So it has that puffy, chunky, almost retro skateboarder type look, but it has all of the paneling of the Forum model, which I do really like how that looks. So essentially you can get the Campus 00s or the Forum 2000s. There's not too much in it practically and functionally speaking. Both are $100 retail price, which I think is great. The Forum 2000 comes in a bunch of really cool colorways, and overall the materials are actually pretty premium. You've got a suede covered upper, which feels nice, and no, you're not getting maximum cushioning or anything with this pair of shoes, but even considering that, it's still a pretty comfortable pair of shoes. Coming in at number 2, one of the most talked about shoes over the past 2 years, the Adidas AE1. I think it's also like the most popular Adidas sneaker at this point, just in terms of like, it's one of their most hyped up models. Now, there's a lot of really good reasons for that. It's affordable, it's comfortable, and it just looks so freaking good. Now, if you didn't know, Adidas has also been teasing that they're doing a second version of this pair of shoes, which coincidentally also got a lot of, I don't know if I would call it hate, but a lot of people were a little bit taken back by the second version not being as good as the first one, at least visually speaking. So yeah, it definitely could turn out that the Adidas AE1 is better than the AE2, and you just have to enjoy this version longer than you would have expected with like a new version coming out. But honestly, I'm completely fine with that. The AE1 is just so good. I think it's going to remain like a really solid pair of shoes for a long time in the future. So whether you want like a really good performance basketball pair of shoes, something that you can wear every single day and be completely fine because it is comfortable and also just look super cool in, I think this is a great option. But of course, coming in at number 1, absolutely one of my favorite shoes in the entire market right now, the Adidas Evo SL. Now, not only is this the top of this list, but it's also the most comfortable shoe that you can buy. That's right, these things just find the perfect balance of being super soft and squishy without being like so squishy to the point where it's like unstable. They got the perfect amount of like responsiveness and pep in the step when you're walking around in them. The entire shoe is just insanely lightweight to the point where like you put them on, you hardly feel like you're wearing anything. You got a relatively thin upper, which is super breathable as well. You've also got a decent amount of ankle cushioning, which is something that you don't always find on sneakers in this category. A lot of other like super comfortable shoes don't always prioritize the way that they look, but these ones did, and they look great. It's so good looking that it's like super easy to throw on with a bunch of different outfits and like actually pull it off. And another massive benefit is just how reasonably priced these things are. Like if you actually look at the competition of other shoes that would be competing with these, they're a lot more expensive. So yeah, genuinely, I think this is the best pair of shoes that Adidas has on their website. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think about the list down in the comment section, and if there's any that you would add to it, love to read through that. And of course, if you want to catch another video, there's one chilling right over there.